Okay. Yay, I am live again. Give me 1 second to share this out. I guess they did not like my poetry and it cut me off. I think I'm going to have to read it again. Read my poem again and um, make sure that it gets out to the world. Let me just take a second to share this out because it's a new link. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day. I am really, really happy today. It is really awesome weather outside, and just other things that are. Give me just 1 second, and I'll talk to you about what's going on. Here is the new link. Yay. All right. Yay! Hi, Kyle. How's it going? Hopefully, you're having a good day. Presumably, you are at work like usual. I see YouTube cut you off. Yes, maybe they didn't like my poem. So I'm going to force everybody to listen to it again after I find it. I had to search through Facebook posts to find it, but yes. Hopefully, you guys are having a good day, like I said. And I wanted to share with you my beautiful chess poetry. Kyle, yes, another work day work day as usual. Well, at least you are getting back in the swing of things after your vacation to Mount Shasta for your birthday. And hopefully we can make a better world that people don't have to go to work if they don't want to, so that you don't have to go to work, right? Okay, so as most people know, I am posting into chess groups and I will go and find chess art. This is the piece, hopefully you can see, is like Alice and Humpty Dumpty there. And that inspired me to write this poetry. Oh, Humpty Dumpty, just one more game, asked Alice. It's the whole reason I came. The wise old egg looked down from on high, held back a smile, and let out a sigh. Another loss you seek, who am I to deny? But I do admire how you try. Alice was excited, for today would be her day. She would beat that egg in an innocent, vegan way. Trying real hard, her practice paid off well. She'd done puzzles for hours, and Humpty could tell. Alice went from okay chess to giving that old egg hell. The game was so exciting that Alice squealed. One to mate, Humpty's fate had been sealed. A surprised egg, Humpty had to say, "Congratulations, Alice, today was your day. Your double fianchetto sure made me pay. Come back tomorrow and the next day too. I'll play chess any day against you. We'll see if you can win or if that was just luck. Well, we can even place bets. I'll give you a buck." "Sounds good to me," Alice said as she turned, bouncing home from the win she just earned and the lesson that old Humpty just learned. Woo. And again, that was inspired by this picture of Humpty Dumpty sitting on the chess set there. So yeah, I plan to write more children's literature essentially in the future, and when I have my own children, basically control 100% of the media that they consume. So I want to write my own books. I would love to get into animation and have animated movies. I love the experience of going to a movie theater and especially watching children's movies. I want to say the innocence of the children's movies, but if you are paying any attention over time, they're getting more and more corrupting. Even the children's movies they've always really had suggestive content in it because they're ultimately being made by pedo groomers, right? But they're getting worse over time, just like everything else. And hi, DJ Grim. How's it going? And from the light of the darkness says, hey, it's been a while. Yes, it sure has. Hopefully you are taking care. Hopefully you guys are doing well. And like I was saying, in the future, I want to control 100% of the media that my children consume, essentially. And I mean, there probably are some things that, like some vegan books or something that are already made that I would be okay with them consuming, not as in like eating, but, I mean, it is kind of a way that you eat through your eyes, right? You're consuming some sort of media, you're being programmed by it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be hyper vigilant to make sure that what they are presented to program them is very, very heavily filtered. And I would love to make my own children's movies and maybe even star in my own movies in the future as well. That'd be pretty fun. So, hey, Plaid Panther, how's it going? It is a beautiful day here, guys. I'm going to take a sip of tea. Sage is here. Thanks for joining, everybody, again. I should make sure I'm on the live chat and not the top chat. YouTube likes to change the settings so that you won't be able to see everybody's comments, and that is not okay with me. Okay, so that was my chess poem. As far as some chess updates go really quickly, many of you already know that I hosted a 16-person knockout simul tournament in the group chess games, tournaments, and more on Facebook. I will provide that link here in the comment section. And actually, Sage here was the winner of that 16-person knockout tournament. And after the simul with Steven is over, which is currently going on, I would definitely encourage you to check out the games that are currently going on. David D is actually playing my opening. Sage drew with Steven, and there are 2 other games going on besides that. So I would encourage you to check it out. It's very exciting stuff. But after the simul is over, I'm going to be hosting a 32-person epic knockout tournament. So if you are interested, let me know so that I can sign you up. It is on Facebook, obviously, in the chess group. You can go and just type hashtag simul with Steven, and you'll be able to see the exact type of format. I post a picture of the board, and then you post your move in response to it, and then I'll post an updated board. So it's really simple. But yeah, let me know if you want to be involved with that, because it's going to be really, really epic. The next order of business is that on October 9th, which is exactly 1 week from today, I'm going to be hosting an over-the-board chess tournament here where I am right now at Ellie's Coffee Shop in Weed. It was supposed to be originally on top of Mount Shasta at Old Ski Bowl, but it has already snowed up there. It is really cold, and that just is not like, who wants to go and play chess and freeze when we could do it perfectly right here. We could sip some hot teas, and it'll be really fun. So October 9th at Ellie's here in Weed, California at noon. That's when we'll start to gather. We probably won't start playing until 1 or so, and I will live stream those games so that you can watch from home. So stay tuned for that. Obviously, I have my over the board tournament in December 12th. I'm going up to Portland to host a tournament, and that's going to be exciting. And in the new year, I also am needing to talk to Sean, but in February, I am planning on potentially going down to San Diego around Valentine's Day to host a tournament down there. So I'm really excited for what the future holds. I've been invited to Lake Tahoe area. I've been invited to Texas. I've been invited to Louisiana. The farthest place I've been invited was Canada so far, to people saying, come to my chess club and host a tournament, basically. So it'll be really exciting to see where the future takes me in all of these endeavors. Ultimately, I am trying to get to the golden age, and this is one of the means by which I can do that. I can spread my influence. Most of the people in the chess world, never even heard of flat Earth. They never even heard of, any of these truther topics. They have been completely asleep, and now they're like, whoa, let's at least listen to what she has to say for a second, right? Kyle says, your poem reminded me of Devil Went Down to Georgia vibe with the place your bets to win part. Is cute. Thank you. I'm glad that it brought back a good memory for you, presumably. Jaren Janice says, hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. And to you, too, hello and welcome. Sue Paul Illuminated One, is that how it says? Anyways. Or Sup All Illuminated One, I guess. I'm moving to Orange County, California in a few months. I'm going to come speak to you face to face, maybe a game of chess or not. Well, you definitely can come to Mount Shasta. I host different events throughout the year. During the summer, I actually put on events on top of Mount Shasta. I'm going to, well, before I was only hosting full moon celebrations where we go up and have like a vegan buffet. I bring up like homemade burgers, homemade bread, homemade cheeses. I actually have like a raw vegan taco spread. I bring up fruits and veggies and desserts, like a whole big, like, no one is going home hungry shindig. We stay up there around a fire throughout the night. It's really fun. But I'm going to be incorporating chess tournaments into that. So I'll have a chess tournament before the full moon celebration. So it'll gather more people up for both events. And ultimately, that's what I want. If I could in the future, which, anything is possible, I would love to go like different places around the world and host Blitz tournaments and then get the winners and pay for them to come out to Mount Shasta and stay here and actually host a tournament on top of Mount Shasta with all of the Blitz tournament winners. Like, that would be really, really awesome to do. So that is really exciting. But yes, I'm also down to pretty much meet anybody for coffee and, dependent on my judgment of who they are and what their intention is. I'm definitely not looking to date anybody or court anybody. I guess it's kind of like the same thing, but like, I'm not doing this for relationship reasons other than to make connections and friendships with people to get to the golden age. Like, that's what I'm focused on, and I can't get distracted by anything or anyone or any of that. Yeah. TJ Grim says, only as far as Canada. I'd like you to come to London. Ooh, yay! I have officially been invited all the way to London. That is really cool. I've actually always wanted to visit London, the UK in general area over there. And yeah, that would be really, really, really cool. I would really, really like that, if you can't tell by my face. I would like to mention some things that are happening in chess news. Most people, like even that are not in the truther community or in the chess world, are being exposed to chess through the mainstream news now, through this whole big cheating scandal. And obviously, I am looking at this coming from a truther perspective. Like, I was not into any chess idols or anything. I don't have any attachments to any of these. Like, in every arena that there is, we're given heroes. Like, if it's sports, we have like LeBron James and Tom Brady, and I'm just naming, I really don't know. I'm just trying to name like any random people that I know from different sports. Like, we're given those stars. We're given stars in the music, entertainment, everything, acting, music, chess, right? Chess too. All of these people at the top of every single arena are controlled at the end of the day. And so I'm coming from it from a truther perspective, and knowing that all the stuff that we see on the mainstream news is a joke. There are underlying agendas being promoted, and one of them, they're trying to say that this clown cheated using sodomite toys, and the real cover up for that, not only is that desensitizing people to sodomite degeneracy through what they consider humor, right? People laugh at this. I'm just like, I don't laugh because I find it disgusting. I'm just like, don't you guys understand that people are being desensitized to this? And the real cover up is that they are usually all sodomized, and demons actually possess them through this act. Like, our world is run by sodomite clowns, and that's what they're ultimately pointing to when they are talking about this, that they are, cheating, they're getting help from something that has to do with that. Well, it's these demons that have possessed them. And just like every arena, the top this kind of leads into the next topic, because there is Smirin, or however you say it. Like, I don't do any hero worship. I could not care less. Like, the best thing that you're going to get me to be excited about is a simul or a tournament that I'm hosting where there are actual real humans involved, like real human males, real human females. Like, that is what is exciting to me. When you're talking about the GMs, I don't even believe that real humans are allowed to be GMs, or even women's GMs. Like, both categories is kind of like everything else in our world. Like, you're not allowed to be an A-list celebrity, so why would they allow you to be a GM, right? In the kind of there's this overlapping Freemasonry and chess, because Freemasons know so much about our reality and how chess is integrated into it. So it's kind of like their chess existed before our reality existed. Our creator incorporated chess elements into his creation, and there are like theological elements, like the true religion, I guess I should say, incorporated into the chess game, this world, everything. So it kind of all ties together. So this is why Freemasons have the chessboard, have all of these different elements, because they know the truth of our reality and how integral, integral, I can't even say this word, whatever, how incorporated chess is into this reality, integrated, whatever, I don't know the words that I'm trying to say. So anyways, yeah, I'm not convinced that any of the top players are able to be real humans. And there is this one player who is under scrutiny because they said sexist, sexist. We won't touch that word for right now, because, you know, God essentially did make sexes differently. He made males and females inherently differently. Obviously, at a fundamental biological level, we are different. But there are general, qualities that are essentially masculine, and general qualities that are essentially feminine. And, it's not something that we should turn against each other for, the same as the races. Like, God didn't create everything the same under the dome. Like, if every human was the exact same sex, the exact same race, the exact same look, the exact same everything, like, how much wisdom is there to be gained? Like, no, what is really going on is that there are tons and tons and tons of differences. And our differences should, be embraced and celebrated, rather than cause division between us, especially for something as shallow as, race, or, sex even. It just shouldn't be a thing. And there are so many agendas to get us to hate each other just because we're the opposite sex or whatever. Like, there are fundamental agendas being pushed on us to try to separate us, to separate the family unit as our creator intended, because ultimately the family unit that our creator intended and his way is where humans are the happiest, where souls thrive. If you think of a family with a father, a mother, and their child, and they're all like a really strong family unit, I just pictured this like triangle, this trinity, like that's beautiful. And one of the things I want to talk about later in a more spiritual aspect, this whole Trinity thing, where we can come into union with the earthly mother and the heavenly father, and we're the child, like, and I'm getting ahead of myself, the empowerment and excitement that comes with that, like stepping into your true self and becoming who you truly are, unleashing your potential. So I'm going to read a little bit from the Essene Gospel of Peace after I stop talking about this chess drama. Anyways, so these sexist comments, they're basically saying that, maybe women shouldn't play chess type, women aren't as good as men. All these type allegations have not only been thrown out during this whole shindig, but in general. Like, why do women have women's grandmasters, but they could be GMs, but men can't be women's grandmasters? Or, there's this whole separation, not only to fuel this fight, but if you take a step back, it's like, well, the women's grandmasters are all men and the top grandmasters are all women. So why are you guys even fighting in the first place? Like, there actually is no fight to be had. It's already inverted to begin with. But yeah, I personally do not support, separating. I guess, I don't know. If there were females that only wanted to participate against females, I guess then I am not really necessarily opposed to that, because maybe that would encourage more females to participate in chess when they don't have to sit across from a male. It's like maybe that would be more inviting for them. So in one aspect, I do kind of understand maybe some people's desire for that to be a thing, and I'm not opposed to that. Like I said, I think that might encourage more girls to do it, but I myself, like, if that was the only option, I wouldn't be happy. I think that competing against males is something that can help you get better. It's just more fun. I don't know. If I was cursed to only compete against females, I probably wouldn't want to play chess. Like, it's just not what I want to do. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, there's a lot of drama going on, and all of this nonsense basically turning the chess world into a clown show, but more like actually just revealing how much of a clown show it already has been, because all of these arenas are clown shows. People are still attached to their heroes, and even truthers, like, truthers are attached to other truthers. It's like they might speak a lot of truth, but I see the person whose post that you are posting, and I hope as a transvestigator that you see the person whose posts that you are posting, because holy cow, that is one obvious invert. Like, I'm getting off on a tangent, but it's like the first thing that I do is investigate somebody. Jayron, is that how you say your name? Jaren? I wonder if the Freemasons symbolically enclosed Boaz in Jachin, I'm not really how you sure that, on the chessboard. That is an interesting allegation that I have never even pondered before. I would definitely have to look more into that, because I haven't really studied too much into like the Cabal and other mysticism texts there. But it's an interesting thing. I think that the Freemasons originally, from my research, going back to The Lost Continent of Mu, James Churchward's book, they talk about how Freemasonry was like the original religion of man, how they worshipped the grand architect of our realm. And I personally tend to, I feel like that is what resonates with me as truth, and that it has been infiltrated and corrupted over time, like every single other thing nearly in this whole reality. Like, that is what the inverts do. They see something that humans have created, and then they go and they infiltrate it and they corrupt it. Like, they're not exactly making things on their own. Like, they take what others have made and then corrupt it, and that's what they do with like every group, every religion. So I try to go back to like the origins of different groups, different religions, different meanings of signs and symbols and all the stuff that they use, and see what the original meaning is before it was corrupted, before the inversion agenda took place. I try not to just go with like the mainstream. It's really interesting. Some truthers, like, if you go on Google and you say, is the earth flat? Google will say no, right? And they're like, oh, Google lies. But maybe they go and they look up something maybe against Inanna, and the first thing that Google says, they just take it as God's honest truth. Like, Google lies over here, but over here it's like God's honest truth, right? Okay. How about some discernment? Jabel says, finding truth by sifting lies makes you nuts. I agree in some ways. It can definitely make you nuts. But there are so many lies that we are surrounded by. It's like pretty much everything that we've been taught since the beginning has been a complete inversion of the truth. And that's such a hard pill for people to swallow. And of course, if you are like this straight A student, and you, even further than that, like if you die hard believe everything that your teachers say, and even before that you had these space dreams, right? Like you have been a child and you have been dreaming about going to space your whole life. Like it's going to be harder for you to break out of these different programming agendas, compared to somebody who was just like, I kind of in school, I was like, just tell me what I need to write on this test, what I need to say so that I can move on. Like, I don't believe half the stuff that they're saying. I just have to, say it to get out of the situation, basically, right? That's kind of like what school was, especially as far as the globe goes. It's like, I'm never going to go to space. So I basically just have to believe what you guys say. And I don't believe anybody at this point. So, yeah, Flat Earth was really easy for me to accept. And it kind of leads into my first topic. Well, not really my first topic, but why Flat Earth matters, why the truth of our reality matters. Well, for one thing, if you're already religious, it will solidify your I don't want to say belief, because you go from having faith in God, from having a knowledge that God exists. That being said, some of us already, without Flat Earth, knew at a fundamental level that God exists. I mean, you can just study creation, look at the human body in itself, all the intricate different systems and things that are going on, different compartments of your body, like that screams intelligent design, right? Then even further outside, you look into the different ecosystems and how all of these things work perfectly together, like in nature, in creation. It's like every single way that you turn it just screams intelligent design. Hi, Russ, how's it going? But for those who are atheists, let's say, finding out the truth of our reality like completely changes everything. And I've had someone else, David D, actually, and I were talking about this in the Chess News and Humor group, about waking up to the truth of our reality. And let me post that here for anybody who wants to read through that. There's a lot of drama that goes on into this group. Commenting was turned off for this post. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on, but anyways, let's see. Where did the comment go? Okay. I believe it was this one, but I'm not really sure. You can check out all the other stuff that's going on in the chat. Okay. I lost my train of thought there, but I'm coming back to it. For an atheist who believes that they are evolved pond scum on a giant spinning ball, a meaningless, evolved slime, knowing the truth of our reality literally changes everything. So for the people who say, why does it matter? Like, what do you mean, why does the truth matter? That question alone doesn't make any sense to me. For me, I already knew that there was a creator, but finding out that we live in this enclosed realm, like on a stationary plane, in this safe, enclosed place that he created for us, like that was so connecting for me. Like it brought me to tears when I found out about it. Like it was just so beautiful. So, hi Jarapara, how's it going? Jabel says, yes, it is, but hope exists because seekers of the truth still exist. Yes, agreed. So, Flat Earth matters for a multitude of reasons, but ultimately knowing that there is a creator, knowing that you matter, knowing that you are being watched and judged, like these things matter at a fundamental level. If you think that there is no life after this, you think that there's no creator, you're not being watched or judged, like any of these things, how are you going to act as compared to someone who knows where they are, what they are, and why they are here? Like it's a complete difference. So I definitely think it is really important. Even here in 2022, I woke up in 2015 to Flat Earth truth. There's nothing that anybody can say to get me to go back. But it is still something that I try to promote and wake people up too. And, the people that want to argue, it's like, I don't want to argue with you. Like, if you want to believe in the globe Earth, if you want to believe in Santa Claus, I'm not gonna like argue with you. When you're ready for the truth, let me know. Okay, that's pretty much the best I can do. Marjeet says, I subscribed to your channel just now. Thank you. I appreciate that. Jaron says that there could be more landmass beyond the Antarctic wall. To me, that's one of many reasons why it matters. Yeah, it would be pretty fun to explore the other lands. I'm not really sure how. I mean, I don't subscribe to any map or model until we can travel freely. I feel like it's really foolish to say like I don't know. I'm okay with not having all of the answers, but there are things that I know for sure. And one of those things, is that we're on a stationary plane under a dome. I don't know how the land is organized, but I can't get up there to see. Like, there's multiple factors why. So I'm personally okay with not having all of the answers while having a solid foundation. The people that are on globe Earth, they have a well-packaged web of lies. They have all of the answers that you could ever even fathom to ask, right? Because it's all been given to us to keep us in this, right? They would rather stay in their delusion because they have all of the answers rather than step out of the comfort zone and question that and take on a worldview that we don't have all the answers. And I'm okay to admit that, right? Kyle says, but the moon is round. Yes, the moon is round and the sun is round. So doesn't that mean the earth is round? Well, ultimately, I do think that we are inside of, we're on the inside of a snow globe, right? We're inside the yellow submarine. I think that the firmament is made out of gold, the most pure gold. If you would take this and to extreme temperatures and purify it completely, all of the gold, the yellow coloring would come out and it would be completely clear. It would become the hardest substance that you can even make in this reality. So that's why I think that, well, that's not the only reason why I think that. This information was directly given to me, like through prayer and meditation. Some call it channeling, whatever. But it also aligns with some biblical verses that talk about, the streets of gold in heaven, they're gold as transparent glass. So it kind of all agrees with that. And the yellow submarine, the golden arches, it's all pointing to this enclosed realm that we live in. Why are snow globes so popular? Well, maybe because you live in one and it resonates at a soul level that you don't understand yet. Why that snow globe, it resonates with you. But we're getting closer to Christmas time, so I'm thinking about snow globes and just the cold weather. I need to get a new heater. Darren says that's interesting because monoatomic gold / Orbeez is clear. I've done some research about people consuming that. Have you ever done any consuming of it? Or this time when I'm saying consuming, I actually mean eating. Have you done any of that yourself? Yeah, I've heard a lot of really interesting properties. Yeah, interesting claims about the properties of monoatomic gold and what it can do. So anyways, that kind of leads us into the golden age, and the golden age is something that I talk on a lot about. Ultimately, I believe that many of our souls came here to change this world, and basically the two futures that are in front of us, if we continue down the path that we're on, is the new world order, or if we shift our our path to the other way, we can actually manifest a golden age where basically humans are free, the other species of Earth are free. We have the things that we need, like the life that everyone kind of dreams of growing up, the perfect house, the perfect land. Even all of these things are possible. Like, we manifest our own reality. And even further, like, there's so many questions that people have asked me about the golden age that I want to answer. So if you have some, definitely let me know in the golden age in the chat. But, we can use different terraforming to change land structures. We can bring different watering systems out to even make the desert into a lush, like, rainforest. Like, there's so much that we can do to change what is going on under the dome to make it into a golden age. And that is what I believe many of our souls came here to fight for. So I wanted to kind of talk about that and ultimately answer the question, what's in it for me? Because that's what everybody's asking. I'm not saying what's in it for me. Ultimately, what's in it for me is a safe world that I can raise my child in, that I don't have to worry about him. Well, him is the ultimate goal, is to have a son. But if I have a daughter too, in older, then that's okay too. But anyways, that's what my ultimate goal is, to have a child in a safe place for him to be. And not just when he's a child in my own territory, but a safe world for him to go out into, not having to be, have inverts and sodomites and just garbage shoved down his throat at every single corner. Like, just, that's ultimately what's in it for me personally. It's not like, oh, I want to be cool. Like, my motives are not because I want to be queen. It's like, I want the future goal of my child being safe. And I'm also, I think that I'm a natural leader. I have the ability to make it happen. So, it's like all of these puzzle pieces are pushing me towards why I came to this world. I know that we can do it. But ultimately, I can't do it alone, no matter how much I wish and dream for it. If other people like you don't dream as well, it won't happen. If we don't have a unified dream, then those that are unified against us are going to just clobber us. Like, there's no fighting back, because we don't have a unified army. We have, even the truther community, we have people that consider themselves truthers, that are Christian, that are Muslim, that are, what they label New Age, all these different things that are separating us, even as supposed truthers. And the New World Order army stands in unification against us, even if they have their own squabbles about personal differences or whatever. So it's like, it's really hard to fight for this future when other people aren't fighting with you. I am very thankful for the people that have been here, that have been fighting alongside of me for years now. And that spread my, that share my videos and everything, and that are my genuine friends fighting on the same path as me. I really do appreciate that. And look forward to meeting you guys. It's been really awesome to get to meet Sage and Kyle. I've met Bob before. Robert came out, and, I've had quite a few people come out that are online. We believe the same things. Getting to meet flat earthers in real life is so cool. So, yeah. Sage says, is this the Golden Age chat room? Yes, it is. Welcome. Anyways, let's go back to Golden Age. What's in it for me? Because ultimately, that's what people care about. They care about themselves. They want to say, all right, well, you want a Golden Age. Well, what's in it for me? What's in it for you is a world that you are able to be free in. First of all, no taxes. Like, wouldn't that be really nice to not be taxed for things, to be able to actually own things? Even further than that, like, I think that food and water and air should all be pure. They should all be free. I think that there are definitely ways that we can produce the things that humans need to be able to make their own homes and have their dream cars and their dream trucks, their dream motorcycles, all of their toys, ATVs, and even boats. Like, I fully believe that there are ways that we together can make this happen so that humans can have the things that they want, and we don't have to worry about money. Like, ultimately, my goal is to make things free. So basically, imagine like going into Home Depot and picking out whatever you want and walking out of the store with it and not having to worry about it. You can take it home. You can build your home with it. You can build your dreams. You can make it happen. Like, I am getting really stoked about this because it's possible. Like, this is the future that I want to manifest. And I don't know why humans are fighting me against it. Like, that sounds like I'm almost getting in tears thinking about how freaking cool that would be. not just like Home Depot, but you understand what I'm saying. Like Home Depot is where you could go to, or if you're a Lowe's person, whatever, get into the Home Depot versus Lowe's argument. Um, but we can make like sustainable products, like even hempcrete and hemp products to make things more sustainable so that we can make them more available. And also implementing AI to do a lot of the things so that we don't have to. Like, no one's souls came to this world to like work a 9 to 5 and make people coffee and clean up after people. Like, nobody, okay, save the parents that came into here to clean up after their children temporarily, but you know what I'm saying. Like, we came in here for greater purposes, and that is what the golden age is about, where you can actually be free, even if you just want to laze around and do nothing. Like, you should be free to do that. It can be extremely boring, especially for the watchers, but you know, I'm not really like, the watchers have had fun watching during all of this corruption. Right now, I'm focused on what we are actually experiencing here under the dome, the suffering stopping, and making a better future for ultimately our children. Like, I want to have a baby someday, and this world is not safe for it. Like, you got to worry about the programming, you got to worry about the food, you got to worry about the air, you got to worry about the water, you got to worry about CPS. Like, they would be right at my door as soon as they found out that I was pregnant, because I'm not going to go around along with any of their programming, you know, and they're ultimately terrified of my future son. So, anyways, no taxation, being able to own your own property, being able to, you know, have restaurants and fast food and other places that are free. You know, the only cost is that you have to be vegan. It's like, the craziest thing is that some humans will say, no, I will give up that whole future, that whole dream world that we can create together, because they don't want to give up bacon. Let's not even talk about the fact that you can make bacon out of so many other things. I don't know if anybody in the chat here has made vegan bacon before, but you can make it out of so many different things. I've never tried. I was never a bacon eater. Bacon really grosses me out. It's like, the smell makes me nauseous. And now I know that it's the closest thing that you can eat to eating human flesh. So it kind of makes sense why it makes me really nauseated to smell it. Nowadays, I don't like the smell of any meat, but yeah, even when I ate meat before, it was like, oh gosh, bacon is horrible. Anyways, there are other facets of the golden age. Obviously, I've kind of talked before about education and how we can just change the pharmaceutical industry and all these different things to be pro-human and natural healing practices, and in tune with not just the physical but the spiritual aspect of things as well. Because, you know, the people in the olden days were right when they were saying, oh, you're sick. Well, there's, you know, some demonic action going on, because there is, like, demons can cause these sicknesses, and that should be taken into consideration when you're trying to heal somebody. Because if you can't address the underlying issue, then how are you going to heal them? At best, you're just going to put a band-aid on them. So I have a lot of different ideas for the future and how it can be, and I would love to hear any from you guys if you have any. I have been dreaming about this for a while, so I have like pretty much just every aspect of how we can make this world better. I've been trying to think about it, because that's just what I overthink, and I am a perfectionist, and I want to truly make something that will be amazing, and new babies can come in, and they, from the beginning, it can be cherished and embraced and given the best nest to you know, to grow in. I'm a mama bird, mama bear, whatever. But yeah, anyways, the golden age won't just be for my child to be safe, but for your children too. The CPS, going from the child pimping services to going to a service that actually helps you. Like, if there was, you know, a situation where the parents are having drug issues or something, like the child protective services could help you figure out. I don't even like that, the Child Protective Services. Sounds really weird, but I do like the idea of having people that are focused on child protection, because I am super focused on it. But what they've done is really leave a sour taste in our mouths by inverting the whole concept, right? Child Protective Services goes from, people still who are not awake have this fantasy in their mind that Child Protective Services only goes in to drug addicts that can't take care of their children, the worst people ever, and those are the only people that they take children from. That's what they're still stuck in, when in reality it's going to get worse over time. But if you don't go along with their agendas, if you don't jab your children, if you don't send them to their schools, if you don't go along with their transition, right? You have to support your child's transition. If little Tommy at 3 years old thinks that he's a girl, you have to go along with that, even if it means cutting off his private parts while he's 3. Like, this is what they're saying. Obviously, I completely disagree with this whole thing. It's absolutely completely bizarre. It's completely demonic at the end of the day. And parents, you need to be the voice of reason for your children, and not, if little Tommy out 3 years old thinks that he's a dog, you're not going to put a collar on him and start walking him, are you? Like, are you going to actually put a bowl of food and water on the floor for him to just go and eat at the floor? Why would you put him on hormones? Why would you let him touch his body and mutilate his body? It just doesn't make any sense. But I was not trying to get onto this tangent about this issue. Ultimately, I can't support any lifestyle that I can't support for my own child. And if it would result in them coming home, like as a girl that just got her breasts cut off, or as a boy who gets his bottom parts chopped and put inside of him to make a vagina, like, I can't support that. So I can't support it for you, and that's because I care about you. And I mean, even if I don't know you, it's like, I still don't want you to mutilate your body and try to become something that you can never be. It's like, you can never actually be what you're trying to become, no matter how many people you deceive into thinking that you are that. Like, you at a core level are always going to know that you are lying. You can never actually, like, what is your end goal? If you try to seduce a man as an MTF, like, you can't like fall in love and get married and stuff. Like, you are a man. You don't have the right parts that this guy that you are tricking is looking for. It's just really something that you kind of have to be scary about nowadays with dating. Is like, I've heard people say, oh, why would it? I was like, okay, well, what if you fell in love with somebody and then you found out that they were an invert, and they're like, oh, well, I would be okay with that because I fell in love with them for who they are, not their body parts. I'm just like, what are you on right now? Because that is absolutely crazy. Like, I would be appalled that you lied to me the whole time that you were something that you were not. What else did you lie to me about? Like, you think that there's going to be a relationship after this? Like, you're lucky if I don't knock you out. Anyways, get a little bit violent. I'm sure that men who have been seduced by another dude in a dress would feel the violent drive. I would not step in between anybody if that was going to be happening, and be like, I'd be mad at them too. Like, I have little brothers, and the thought of them looking on Instagram and all these, all these inverts really, really irritates me. It really makes me angry. So yeah, I gotta stop ranting about this and see what other things that I have written down on my thing. I'm kind of still talking about the golden age, because in the golden age, we're actually going to be able to have real humans on the screen, like real human movie stars and singers and like role models for children to look up to. It's going to be really exciting. So I really look forward to the golden age, and ultimately this world is what we create together. So hopefully you are dreaming about the golden age and we can get it underway, because this out here is just going to keep getting worse until we're at their new world order, where if you don't let them sodomize your son, you're a bigot. I don't know about you, but I will fight, kill, and die to avoid that world. Like, no, you're call me a bigot all day long if that's what you need to do. You're not getting anywhere near my son, or you're going to be leaving here in pieces. Like, I should probably watch what I say so I don't get another YouTube ban for like threatening people. Because I'm not really threatening anybody specific. So, but still, like, mama bear claws will come out, and they don't warn you about the papa bear. People want to label aggression as a male thing, but it's like, are you afraid of the papa bear or the mama bear when it comes to being near the cub? Like, you better watch out. Aggression is not just a male thing, okay? It's really quite sad to just continuing on from that, how many women have been emotionally detached, essentially, from the growing baby in their womb, and call it a fetus, right? Fetus, right, sounding like the word feed us for no coincidental reasons. But anyways, they've been completely cut off from their maternal instincts, and they, not all, thankfully, but so many have been cut off and wouldn't fight, kill, and die for their own unborn children, their own children. They would rather send them to the slaughter so that they can enjoy their lives. It's really, really sad. Jabel says Papa Bear equals Viking status. Well, let me know when anybody starts talking about the Papa Bears in their warnings when you go into the woods. All right. So the next thing that I want to talk about is, why does evil exist? So after that, Michelle gets done screaming over there. If you guys have any other questions about the Golden Age, definitely let me know. Why does evil exist? Well, evil existed from the beginning. Essentially, well, the way that I teach it, the way that I see it, is that source was actually a point in time, and everything was one, and then after that point in time, things broke off into many. So from that one point in time till now, we are many, and there's no going back. I mean, you'd have to get us all to be one again, you'd have to get everybody to agree to basically go out of existence on a soul level, and that's just not going to happen. So anyways, from that initial point where souls split, some went higher, some went lower, and a soul, over time, we go through different experiences, so it goes up and down. It's not just like a one dimensional or one level type of thing. It is complex, and anyways, from the beginning, there were souls that went down to the lower levels here. I'm just trying to check. Okay. Waiting to hear from someone. Anyways, from this point in time at the beginning, some souls went up, some souls went down, and it's basically just been like that from the beginning. But the difference between what is out there in the cosmic ocean, as they say, if you look in a lot of ancient texts, they talk about the cosmic ocean. Even the Bible says, the spirit moved upon the waters. This whole concept of there being waters made out of ether, and ether is what our souls are made out of as well. So that's what's outside of physical reality. And this cosmic ocean has different rules than what are inside of this physical reality. Basically, Sophia became this snow globe, right? This terrarium in which we live. And she ultimately sets the rules. She decides who comes in. She decides what is allowed to happen. So ultimately, her goal is to seek wisdom, so she does allow a certain amount of evil to come in, but there's a stopping point. Like, there's only so much evil that is allowed in, because of her rules, essentially. And like I'm saying, the reason that it's allowed in is because she's seeking wisdom. And if you have a Garden of Eden, everything is perfect. There's no everything's all hunky-dory, how much wisdom are you going to be gained, right? Like at first, when you have a new creation in this new environment, yeah, Adam and Eve are going to run around and explore and have all of their fun. And then it's like, okay, well, how long does that last? Like, sure, they're having fun, but it's like, it isn't just about the people inside. It's not just about us. It's about Sophia. She's gaining wisdom. There are watchers that are watching us. Like, there's a bigger picture. It's not just about what we are experiencing under the dome. So, having Adam and Eve be able to run around, frolic in this perfect garden for hundreds, maybe thousands of years. I'm not even, 100% sure how long Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, but hi, Faith. How's it going? I hope you are doing well. Also, I am doing great. I'm having a wonderful day, and thanks for joining. So what I was saying is that in this perfect paradise Garden of Eden, your new creation is only going to go so long before it's like, all right, they've been at this, they've learned everything, right? So now there needs to be a new element that's added in to bring about new wisdom. And that is ultimately why, the serpent is allowed to go into the garden and all of the things that have unraveled since that. I definitely don't go along with the mainstream biblical narrative, but I do think that there are a lot of underlying truths in it that, that are true and can be seen in other texts, in other cultures, in other religions. The concept of, Satan is not just in the Bible, but it's also in Muslim texts. Other religions talk about these types of things. So I'm not trying to be too Christian focused, even though that's where I do come from. I don't think that anybody should get stuck in any one mainstream religion, at least. I do think that there is a true religion, though, like, the more that we move towards the truth, the more that we know, the more that we align with what the true religion is. And I think that, the powers that be also have their way of aligning with the true religion, but in a dark and a twisted manner, where, the light side is talking about worshiping the sun, the S-O-N king, and, in a positive way. And the dark side is focused on the same sun and corrupting him and, eating his flesh and drinking his blood, or sodomizing him. Like, that's what they are focused on. So they have like their own religion that is also aligned with the true religion, but in a twisted and dark manner, which makes sense because they're the dark side, right? So yeah, but one other thing that I wanted to mention, inside of this reality, there is rules. There is this karmic system set up where if you do good things, you get rewarded. If you do bad things, you get punished. Outside of this realm, that doesn't exist. It's kind of more like there aren't those rules. It's more like a dog eat dog type situation. And, one of the things that's the same, though, outside as above, so below, is that will. Your will to do something, your strength of will is going to determine a lot of things. It's going to determine your reality. And by will alone, we can change this reality. So inside and outside, will is really important. And will is very attractive. Force of will, being able to do things that others have not. So anyways, let me go back to my list here, because that is pretty much why does evil exist? Yeah. So Sophia allows a certain amount of evil in this realm so that she can gain wisdom. Kind of like I've been saying, it's like if you create this reality and your creation, your player goes in, right? And he needs something else to continue the story along and bring wisdom. And I think that all of the other species, like reptilian and, well, reptilian's kind of like an umbrella term for a lot of different species, and dragon is one of them. So, dragons, Nakash, which includes snakes, the Jinn, which are these beings that smoke with fire. I believe they all had their time center stage, and, that this world has been going for a very, very long time. But anyways, let me get into my reading. If you guys have any other questions, that's pretty much what I wanted it to read from there. Where did I mark this? Okay. There's two passages that I wanted to read here from the Essene Gospel of Peace, Book 1. And Christ answered, "Seek not the law in your scriptures, for the law is life, whereas the scripture is dead. I tell you truly, Moses received not his laws from God in writing, but through the living word. The law is a living word of living God to living prophets for living men." I like that. "In everything that is life is the law written. You find it in the grass, in the tree, in the river, in the mountain, in the birds of the heaven, in the fishes of the sea. But seek it chiefly in yourselves. For I tell you truly, all living things are nearer to God than the scripture which is without life. God so made life and all living things that they might, by the everlasting word, teach the law of the true God to true man. God wrote not the laws in the pages of books, but in your heart and in your spirit. They are in your breath, your blood, your bone, in your flesh, your bowels, your eyes, your ears, and in every little part of your body. They are present in the air, in the water, in the earth, in the plants, in the sunbeams, in the depths, and in the heights. They all speak to you that you may understand the tongue and the will of the living God. But you shut your eyes that you may not see, and you shut your ears that you may not hear. I tell you truly that the scripture is the work of man, but life and all its hosts are the work of our God. Wherefore do you not listen to the words of God, which are written in his works? And wherefore do you study the dead scriptures, which are the work of the hands of men? I absolutely love that. All these people that wanted to point at, the Bible being the only scripture. First of all, that's one of the things that I point to them is like, don't seek your scriptures in books, even though I absolutely love books. I think books are great. I think that there are so many great hidden truths in these books. But for somebody who doesn't have this, like, you don't need books to know who our creator is. You don't need a book to tell you any religion. You don't need anybody else. Go outside, go and connect with nature. And like it says, seek it chiefly within yourself. Look inside. We all have this connection to our creator, which is, our guardian angel, kind of like the old cartoons that show an angel on one side and a devil on the other. Like, we have these connections to both sides, and those connections can either be strengthened or weakened by the things that we do. So if you're doing things that align with our creator's will, if we're trying to abstain from things that we know disgrace him, that go against his will, that bond is going to be strengthened, while at the same time, loosening this bond over here with the dark side. But on the other side, duality is an inherent part of our world. It's a built-in part of our reality, and that's not just inside of this realm, that is outside as well. Even outside of this realm, souls are either male or they are female. Like, souls have a specific sex, and that existed before this realm was created. So there's no escaping duality for that comment. But as I was saying, what was I saying before? Those that are running our world, right? Those that choose to invert themselves. First of all, let's just get something straight. I do feel bad for the children that are abused, but I also know at the same time that these souls choose to come into families that will invert them. If Britney Spears, the character, right, didn't choose to come into that inverted family, they would be Bob nobody down the street. Like, there's a reason that these souls that sell out and choose to come into these positions so that they can be that character, right? So there definitely is an extent that I feel bad. They're abused as children, and they're really lost in dark souls. So I really do sympathize with them for that. But at the same time, it's like, you chose to do this. You chose to come in here to take that abuse, to be clown in a dress prancing around on stage, seducing men and corrupting men and women. Like, how many little girls looked up to Britney Spears? Maybe even still do. How many have been corrupted through this clown? So it's like, I do feel pity, tremendous pity for these people, but at the same time is like, I am a little bit salty because it's like, you choose to come in here and deceive people, and that pisses me off. Like, I don't know. Yeah, kind of got a little bit of a rant there. But anyways, Faye says, I recently found out that HIV is nothing but a parasite, and there are herbs to purge these parasites out along with being on a high raw fruitarian diet. Mostly seeded grapes are great for disease. I personally believe that HIV is an actual virus. I have spoken to genetic engineers who have worked extensively with viruses and, made their own. So I have learned how. I mean, I haven't actually been in the lab to do it, but I have a general understanding of how they make them and all this stuff. And sorry, Jara says Britney has a spear. Yes, Britney Spears is a man. So, yeah, so I have knowledge from trusted sources about viruses, and I do think that diseases can be linked with parasites and all that stuff too. But in general, I believe that viruses they're all made in labs. So they tell us a half truth. In the truther community, they want us to pick one or the other, like germ versus terrain. And apparently, if you say that viruses are real, I've been accused of going along with the mainstream narrative. I'm like, can you please show me in the mainstream where they tell you that viruses are all made in labs? Can you show me in the mainstream where they actually show you how viruses are made? Because I personally have made memes to show people how viruses are made in a very simplistic, manner that a child can understand. The mainstream also does not tell you that, that germ and terrain theory are both partially true, right? Like, germs they're made in genetics labs. Like, the powers that be aren't just making these diseases and sending them out because they don't make you sick. Okay, so it's like, why would they be spending their time funding these I shouldn't say funding. I'm pretty sure they're all taxpayer funded viruses that get sent out, but that's a different story, I guess. They're spending time to make these viruses to send them out to make us sick, but that works in stride with the standard American diet that they promote. They say, eat all this junk so that your terrain is just the most unhealthy, dirtiest fish tank, right, that you can come across. So then when they send out their viruses, then you get sick. And then every winter, right, they send out another cold season. They're sending out a new one to get people sick, to scare people, to make sure all the grannies and grandpas come in and get their flu shots, right? So I believe that they are working in conjunction with each other. So Explore, what are you laughing about there, buddy? I'm not really sure because the chat's lagging, but hopefully it's about Britney having a spear, because that is definitely funny. All right. 2 turkey sandwiches. Someone requested that I read a passage about Sophia, and Sophia is mentioned in the Proverbs. That's actually where I came across Sophia. Sophia is all physical matter. She's the one that they refer to when they say Mother Earth, and most of the mainstream religions completely leave her out. There, like I said, there's little tidbits of her left in the Proverbs, but most of them completely leave her out. We have a really patriarchy based, the mainstream religions of the world are very patriarchal. Like, the biblical Trinity is 3 males rather than the balanced Trinity that was before this whole established religion came into being. Like, the Essenes and all these other texts are pointing to the Trinity being Father, Mother, Child. And that is just the most awesomest thing. I mentioned before kind of a little bit about how the Essenes talk about how we can enter into this Trinity with our earthly mother and our heavenly Father, and, really step into our true power and become become what we were meant to be, like with the power of those two and us aligned to being who we were meant to be. Like I'm getting really excited about the possibilities here. So I wanted to read this passage. Faith says viruses contain animal pus in them. Am I wrong? Well, it depends really on what different viruses are created differently. So there are like general. There are general. Sorry, it's getting kind of loud in here. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Let me try to pull up this. Just like if you're gonna go and bake a cake, right? You're gonna need like maybe a flour, you're gonna need flavoring, you're gonna need these different ingredients, right? But you could choose maybe instead of regular flour, maybe you use like almond flour or coconut flour. Maybe instead of vanilla flavoring, you use chocolate. In making viruses, they have the same type thing, so the same general ingredients are needed, but different. Different ingredients can be used for different viruses. So, like HIV virus is not the same as chickenpox, right? So they used different little things were different about the virus that they create. I'm trying to pull up the thing. It's like the different proteins, I guess, essentially. That they are able to use. Why are they hiding me from my own posts? Okay. This is really weird. Okay. Oh, wait. I think I'm on. Okay, that's why. Facebook has a really weird thing now where you sign into your page as a profile. So it switches like everything, your news feed and everything. So, anyways. Biology 101. Like the busiest section in here for a while. They always, a lot of people are trying to point to Koch's postulate as the evidence that viruses aren't real. In reality, Koch's postulates are all nonsense to begin with. So, you're using nonsense to try to disprove something that's real. So it just, I can post that post in here too. But all right. So here, this is Faith should answer your question here. It's like actually, I'll just connect you right to the actual meme. Okay. Here we go. That link that I just shared shows the breakdown. Oh, wait. I mean, I guess that's kind of what I wanted, but that's funny. A lot of them look the same, but they're not exactly the same. It was the first one. Okay. I'll change the link to actually be the first one that I wanted it to be. Okay. Viruses. There are more memes that I made that are linked to this post, and Facebook should show you that it's part of a post so that you can see the other memes that I have made in there. And then I'll link you to this Koch's postulate fraud post as well so that you can see. Ooh, you can get out of there. So that you can see what's up with that and how you can argue back against these ridiculous claims. It's like it totally discredits people when the truther community says ridiculous things. Koch's postulates fraud. Okay. Truthers, we pride ourselves with knowing the truth. We woke up, we broke out of the deception, and then they start to convince truthers of really stupid psyops, things even that discredit other things that they've been saying. In this whole concept of viruses, when I first woke up in 2015, everybody was like, we're anti-jab because chickenpox parties, right? Like chickenpox parties and measles parties were the reason that we justified not getting jabbed. You take a sick child and then you bring all the other kids around, they play together, everybody gets over the disease, and then we move on with our lives, right? Rather than injecting ourselves with poisons. Now, people are saying contagion is a myth. It's like, have you never even heard of a chickenpox party? Do you not remember that? Like, they're definitely contagious. It's ridiculous, and it's not the only subject that truthers have been just completely deceived about. The viruses not existing, it just all goes to discredit us, because a genetic engineer, if you go and tell them that a virus is not real, that it doesn't exist, they're going to laugh you out of the room. Just like, if I went up to one of these baristas making coffee and I told them that espresso beans were not real, that they did not exist, they'd be like, okay, whatever you say, the customer's always right? No, but still, it would be really ridiculous. Like, viruses are definitely real. Okay, so Jara Para, I'm banned again on Facebook for posting truth. What did you post this time? I just got back from a week-long YouTube ban for posting, my Fantasy Girl music video, which was posted I don't even know how long ago, but it was like a really long time ago that the video's been up. So somebody must have reported it, and I guess that's understandable. I got a lot of haters out there, so I'm doing things right. That's what they say, right? I'm going to actually give you the link for my Fantasy Girl video so that you can see it if you want. They removed it for sexual content. So, just pre-warning. Fantasy Girl. No truth denies reality. The fakes are being weeded out. I agree. Tara says, my 16th 30-day ban in a row. Oh, wow, that's crazy. How long until they deactivate your accounts? I know that they're gonna stop letting you be on their Sorry, there's somebody that just walked in. Okay. Anyways, what were we talking about? I'm going to finish this live stream with reading this passage that I was asked to read something about Sophia, and this is what I was pulled to, and understanding this whole concept of the Trinity being the earthly mother, Sophia, the heavenly Father, and you, their child. I tell you, unless you follow the laws of your mother, you can in no wise escape death. And he who clings to the laws of his mother, to him shall his mother cling also. She shall heal all his plagues, and he shall never become sick. She gives him long life and protects him from all afflictions, from fire, from water, from the bite of venomous serpents. For your mother bore you, keeps life within you. She has given you her body, and none but she heals you. Happy is he who loves his mother and lies quietly in her bosom. For your mother loves you, even when you turn away from her. How many of us have done that, right? And how much more shall she love you if you turn to her again? I tell you truly, very great is her love, greater than the greatest of mountains, deeper than the deepest seas. And those who love their mother, she never deserts them. As a hen protects her chickens, the lioness her cubs. As the mother her newborn babe, so does the earthly mother protect the Son of Man from all danger and from all evil. So that is just, I am getting teary-eyed just reading it, because it is just so impactful to me. Like, this just all of it, I guess, is kind of overwhelming, this whole knowledge of having, a mother, heavenly Father and earthly mother that love us, and they want what is best for us. And even when we turn our backs from them, even when we go astray, it's like, just like your parents on earth, they still love you even if you mess up, and they want what's best for you. So hopefully, those verses hit a chord inside, and encourage you to reconnect with your mother and, try to become the best version of yourself possible. I really appreciate you joining me today, and I hope that you will have a wonderful week and join me next time. If you have any questions for a future live stream, definitely let me know. And until then, I'm in on a snow.